This basic Honeywell thermostat is still working just fine, but I would like to replace it with a more advanced thermostat that has a humidity sensor as well. But first I need to unplug the cord at the air handler, or the furnace in your case, or flip the breaker to the off position. And the screen goes blank because I don't have any batteries installed in this particular thermostat. But if you do have batteries inside, the screen will still be on, but the system will not work. And now I need to remove the faceplate. On this particular thermostat, the front comes straight out, but yours may be slightly different. With the faceplate out of the way, you may see just a couple of wires, or many more as in my case. Let's get close to it so you can see better. And at this time, it's a good idea to take a picture of this, in case the color of the wires don't match the terminals. Because typically the white wire goes to W, yellow to Y, green to G terminal, the red wire goes to R or RC right next to it, and the optional black or blue wire goes to the C, the common terminal. But if you have batteries installed, you don't even need this wire. And this color code is just a rule of thumb, but not followed by every technician. As I mentioned before, the red wire can be connected to the R or RC and sometimes RH terminals, because internally they are connected by a metal jumper. And this is true for majority of people. And now with the small screwdriver, let's remove one wire at a time. Loosen up the screw and pull the wire out. And if you don't see any screws on yours, the wires would be held by little clamps, so you can push on a paddle and release one wire at a time. And let's continue with removal of the rest of the wires. If you count more than 5 wires on your thermostat, this could mean you have a dual fuel system with a sensor outside. The installation may get pretty complicated, so maybe it's worth calling a technician to help you out. But if you are still here with me, when you unscrew the last wire, hold on to it and don't let it go. Spread wires like spider legs, because sometimes the wire harness can fall down into the hole inside the wall and you would not be able to fish it out without breaking the wall. And now with the larger screwdriver, you can remove a couple of screws. If the thermostat backplate feels like it sticks to the paint, it's better not to pull it, but get a sharp knife and cut through the paint. To install the replacement thermostat, I would need to remove the backplate from that thermostat as well. And when you install the new plate on the wall with a screw, it's better to use a plastic anchor like this first. That way the thermostat will not get loose in the future when you need to open it up to replace the batteries. But in my case, there is a metal plate right behind the drywall, so I can attach a bare screw into that metal. Now feed the wires through the middle of the thermostat backplate, and look at this. The old screw holes line up exactly with the new thermostat plate, and that means I can simply reuse them. It's better to start with the screw on the right side first, because the left side has a vertical adjustable screw hole, and it would be easier to level the thermostat at the end. And it feels solid. Now, this is not necessary, but if you have a level tool, this is the time to use it and adjust it. Tighten the left screw to make it permanent. In addition, this backplate has 2 more holes for the screws, but I will not be using them because my 2 screws went into the metal plate behind the drywall, and that's more than enough. If you have a heat pump, you would use letters on outside of the connectors. But if you have a gas furnace or an electric heater with a regular cooling compressor, you would use the inside letters of the connectors. However, if the back of your thermostat has a manual switch like this, you would have to follow these instructions. For the gas or oil, keep the switch on the left, and for the electric heater or the heat pump, switch it to the right. And we are back to the installation. Let's start from the top with the red wire, and the wire can go into either R or RC because there is a jumper in between them, just like in the old thermostat. And the red wire typically brings 24-volt power into the thermostat. Slide it into the hole and tighten it with a small screwdriver. You don't want to over-tighten it and break the screw, but at the same time, it has to be snug enough so when you pull on the wire, it does not come out. The next terminal is W1, which is the same as just W, and it is for the white wire that goes into a heater. And if you have a dual stage heater, you will use both W1 and W2. The next terminal is Y for the yellow wire, and it goes to your cooling compressor. Insert it and tighten it. The next wire is green for the G terminal that supplies power to your indoor fan, which has nothing to do with your outdoor fan that sits on top of your compressor. The blue common wire typically goes into the C terminal, but it's kinda tricky because I don't see it here. Like on the previous thermostat, there was a C terminal. So in this case, and this case only, the blue wire goes into the B terminal. So tighten it and give it a tug to make sure that it sits well. And we almost finished. I already installed the batteries, and that's why the screen is already on. The label on this thermostat says Trane, but it's the same as a Honeywell Vision Pro model. And now I just need to flip the breaker on, activate the thermostat by selecting heating or cooling. I will select cooling because it's too warm in here, and click on Done. And it says wait, because this thermostat has a built-in safety timeout for the compressor. And a few minutes later, the cooling is on. And if you found this video informative, hit the like button, and thanks for watching.